Welcome to Brunswick Now. I'm your host, Megan Masser. This month, we'll speak with a couple of young entrepreneurs in the area and some athletes who are young at heart. Today, we'll welcome Daniel Beasley, owner of Jumpin' Java Espresso Company in Charlotte. He'll talk to us about running a business and what it means to buy local. Next, we'll speak with a young website developer from the area, Josh Holden. He'll talk to us about his helpful site, holdenbeach.me. And finally, we'll talk to Joyce Larimore and Ann Klazowski about the Brunswick Senior Games. Stay tuned for the next half hour as we bring you Brunswick Now.
Welcome to Brunswick Now, ATMC TV, Channel 3, bringing you the best of Brunswick.
Let's first welcome Daniel Beasley. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Megan.
Now, you're the owner and the operator of Jumpin' Java Espresso Company in Charlotte.
Yep.
And what all do y'all offer there?
Well, we have tons of different coffee-based espresso and coffee-based drinks, along with smoothies, teas, and pastries, free Wi-Fi, so just a bunch of different things.
And how did you get started in the coffee business?
Well, it was about 4 years ago. This April will be 4 years ago. And I was one of those people that had 1,000 ideas, you know. Every day was a different idea. And I figured at one point that I either need to quit thinking of all these different ideas or finally get into a business, jump into a business and do something. And Jumpin' Java came open for sale. I bought it and I've been there ever since.
So have you always had somewhat of an interest in this type of business?
Not necessarily. I'm more one of those people that love business, and not necessarily did I want to own a coffee shop or anything like that. It wasn't a specific thing that I was looking for. It was more just the opportunity that opened up. And so I took it, ran with it, and throughout the last 4 years, I've learned tons about business, and that's what my passion is business. It just happens to be coffee and what I'm doing now. So.
Good. And I love Jumpin' Java. I go there frequently, as you know.
I do know that, yes. And we're glad to have you. Thank you for coming in and supporting us.
And how is your business going now?
It's going good. We had a great year. We finished with a great year last year. Sales were up from the previous year, which is always good. Right now, we're in January, and I think with the weather and just it's a tourist area, so January and February, tons of businesses in this area see a drop in their business, and we always do. We've seen a drop in our business from say July. We see it every year. This year has probably been a little worse than we've seen last year, but with the weather and things like that, it always affects everything. Affects this town. Charlotte's not the biggest town in the world, so you're talking numbers. And when school gets canceled and stuff like that, that takes away people from coming into town, which takes away and drops your sales. And I know I'm not the only person in town that's seeing the same thing. So, but overall, it's good. Can't complain, and very happy to be there.
Good. Now, I know there's other people out there that have a million ideas and they want to get started and do something. What advice would you give them? Well,
first of all, it's start small. Everyone, and including myself, you have this big vision. And the vision's always, I'm going to start today, tomorrow I'm going to be a millionaire. And, because you always hear these success stories online or on TV, whatever it might be. But if you really dig into their stories, you'll realize they started super small. And through years, they grew to be what they were, And I can throw Facebook today is 6 years 6 years old, and if you saw the movie Social Network, it tells you that they started in his dorm in Harvard, and it grew into what it is. There's so many different stories out there if you look into it. Amos Lee is a famous singer. Some people might know him, some people might not. But for 6 years, he hit the scene, and all of a sudden it just looks like he blew up overnight. But really, it was 6 years of playing into different things before he became somewhat popular. So it's a lot of hard work. And getting started, you need to start small and then grow it from there.
Would you give the same advice if you wanted to start your own business, then start small and just try to really work your way up?
Yeah, and then something I just read recently too is it said, focus on the beginning and know kind of your end, but don't worry about the middle. Because the middle, so many things are going to change in between. And so so many people focus on that control of, I want to control this, I want to control that. And in the middle, you can't control it. There's so many things that from day one that's changed in my life and it's changed in a coffee shop. And I didn't see any of it coming. And some of it's been hard. Some of it's been really hard to deal with and get get through and struggle through, and some of it's been great and great blessing. So you just got to deal with, kind of roll with the punches, and just don't focus on the middle part, because so much is going to change. You just got to be kind of, I guess, agile to that.
Right. And now I've seen a couple places about this Buy Brunswick Local campaign. And can you tell me a little bit about staying in your community and buying local?
Well, we, back in June and July, we ran with the Chamber of Commerce, we did some sleeves. It said Buy Brunswick, Buy Local. And it just really comes down to trying to keep all the money that that is generated in our community and in our county here locally. Now, I also understand that people are going to travel, they're going to go do things with the family, and I definitely encourage that. But if you're in the area and you can stay local and buy from local people, that generates the income, more income in the community. And there's a story that I read recently from Howard, South Dakota. There was a little community of 3,000 people, and their community was dropping rapidly through decades. Just people, they were moving away, they weren't coming back. And these high school kids got together, and they wanted to rally the town and try to grow the town and revamp the town. Well, they finally figured out 50% of the population was actually leaving the town and going into a different town and buying, shopping.
Okay.
And they said, well, if we can just take those people, turn them into buying local, and if just 10% of their dispensable income, they took that, just 10% of it, and applied it back to the local economy, they kind of generated that they would do $7 million or more business.
Wow.
And that's just a 3,000 person town. They actually, once they went through it, they got all the community on board, and they went through it. They actually, after the end of the year, $15.6 million came back into the community.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's something small that
Right.
I think we can do here locally. I really do believe that we have the people in this community that can get together and buy local, buy more local. And a good example, and I think he's actually on the show today, Josh Holden. He once told me, and he doesn't know I'm dropping his name or anything, but he once told me that he was waiting. He was out of town. We were going to meet up, have some lunch, just talk about business actually. And he actually told me that he was waiting to get back into Brunswick County before he spent any of his money to eat a little bit of something. And it's things like that that if you're in Wilmington for the day and you just wait a little half an hour until you get back into Brunswick County before you buy, it makes a big difference. And snowball effect is huge if everyone comes together and we just do a small part and little. Start off little, we'll see a big effect down the road. And I do believe that the drop-offs that we see here, January and February in this community, it wouldn't be as dramatic for some of us if we all stayed more local and just kind of focused on that, buying local.
Makes sense. I would rather purchase items from a cute boutique in Brunswick County than have to drive down to the mall in Myrtle Beach or drive north 45 minutes to Wilmington. So
and I think it's a habit forming. I mean, I think we have our habits, and we all go certain places and we do certain things, and we just got to break those habits and think about, all right, well, maybe instead of, I'm down here shopping and I'm going to stop in here and get some fast food here. I mean, even fast food in our community, those are still local people that the money goes towards the local people working there. So wait, instead of spending McDonald's down there, come up here and do McDonald's. I hate to drop that name, but I mean, I sit there and across from.
It's a pretty popular name.
Well, I mean, across from a coffee shop, I see it all day long. And the line, I mean, it's no lie. Everyone in Brunswick County knows that line is to Main Street all day long. So it's just, keep it local. Just kind of try to think about that. And I don't think we think about it when we go out of town. We're in Wilmington for the day. We don't really think it's about convenience. It's not about let's take our money down there.
That's right. And what can we expect to see at Jumpin' Java in the next couple months?
Well, I think we're gonna change some things around. Our drinks are gonna stay the same. We have won Best of Brunswick the last few years, and we won the Best of the region. And so we're going to obviously keep our coffee the same and not really change too much of that around. But we're going to focus more on our whole bean sales. So we definitely can sell people whole bean coffee. I encourage people to come in and buy whole beans from us. It's really, if you look into it, it's not too much more expensive than going to a major supermarket and buying your coffee from there. Of course, it's going to be a little bit. Our coffee is roasted, shipped to us, and within a week it's all consumed. So you're getting coffee that's been roasted within the week. Compared to stores, really it's roasted, sits on shelves for like 3 months, 4 months. if you're not a huge coffee drinker, you know, that doesn't really matter to you. But if you do love coffee, I encourage come in, try out a whole bean. We can grind it for you. You can take it home, and I think eventually you'll start to realize there is actually a difference in some of the different products out there.
Okay, and do you have a couple different flavors for that?
Coffee-wise, we kind of switch around our flavor. Right now we're doing the hazelnut cream, and throughout the year we do the pumpkin spice and things like that, and then actual coffee, which is not flavors, just dark roast, medium roast, light roast. Right now we have the Sumatra, we have organic Honduras. The Sumatra is a light roast, organic Honduras is a medium roast, and then a dark roast, we kind of go back between a pea berry and mocha java.
Okay,
yeah.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
Well, if someone watching maybe hasn't seen you all before, where can they find you?
Well, we're 4635 Main Street, right in the middle of Charlotte, right across the street from McDonald's. It's just in the hub of Charlotte, I guess, if you want to call it that. And I also encourage, if anybody ever had any questions about business or anything, and I'm definitely not an expert, but if they want me to, I'd be more than willing to help them, lead them in the right direction and where they should get started and stuff like that. So they can come see me at the coffee shop. I love talking business. I love to talk to them.
And you're also on Facebook, so people can check you all out there
on
too.
Facebook, Jumpin' Java Espresso Company on Facebook. Become a fan, and we just kind of roll out and do some different things on there. So
great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today, Daniel.
All right, thanks for having me.
Joining us now is Josh Holden. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks for coming on today.
Sure.
Now, I've heard about the work that you've done around the Holden Beach area. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I guess it all started probably about 3 years ago, and I was actually working for a marketing agency up in New York City, where I've lived for a while, and it was about when Facebook pages first came about, and I've always found it interesting, the dynamic at coastal communities, where so many people come in a tourism destination, and they have amazing experiences here. They bring their families, and they always have those memories, and they have a connection to the place. And Facebook pages seem to be just about like the perfect technology to for people to keep that connection.
Right.
So visitors could join the page, find out what's going on, and know what's coming up next week, next month, next season, and stay connected and then want to come back. So I started it as an experiment, really, and got a few followers, got a few fans, and it's really just taken off. In fact, today we have about 7,100 fans, followers of the page, and what's so amazing about that is that about half of those, 3,250 about, are active monthly users. So that actually means that half of those people are checking the site, they're commenting on the site, they're liking things on the site. So it keeps people engaged, and I think what I loved most about it is that as I started it and it started growing, people would share their stories on the site. So people would tell about the great experiences they had with their father or grandfather that might have actually been passed away now, but those memories they those memories that they remembered, and they shared that on the page. And something like that that really made me smile and enjoy it, because I think Holden Beach is all about the experiences and the stories of the visitors and all the families that come, and that's why I keep doing it. I try not to make it about, it's not about me. I don't mention me. I'm kind of behind the scenes. In fact, I kind of get bothered whenever people say it's my Facebook page, because I don't really think it is. But yes, it's doing really well. People can access it at facebook.com/HoldenBeach.
Okay,
They want
so
to
they'll click on there
out.
and follow during the show. Hopefully
Absolutely,
today.
absolutely.
And after Facebook, what came after that?
Well, I had started the Facebook page when I was still in New York, and I was starting to get homesick. So it was kind of a process, really, getting involved with the Facebook page and getting homesick. And so I decided to take some time away from New York. And I came back home for the summer. And when I was here, I started playing with the idea of a community website, a community blog to go along with the Facebook page, where it could be a little bit more deeper content instead of just sharing, status messages or photos and stuff. And so I started holdenbeach.me, that's holdenbeach.me, and there you can find latest news. I repost news from the town, or any articles of interest that I might write, photos, events. You can check what's going on in town, photos of the area, and places, so like links to local business websites or local businesses in the area. So I try to make it, sometimes it's hard to keep putting content up there, but I try to make it a resource for the community, a centralized resource.
And I can see that not only being a great resource for the community that's here now, but maybe for somebody that's looking to relocate to our area, or someone that's planning their vacation for next week. They can click on and see what's going on. When
Absolutely.
here.
I don't think, sometimes it's hard for people. They just have the, oftentimes they're the magazines telling people what's going on, but I think it's so much easier, like an online resource, an online site for them, these days particularly.
That way it's live and it's what's going on.
Exactly.
So that's awesome.
Exactly.
And now, how did you get into all of this technology? Is it something that you've always loved to do, or?
I've always been pretty geeky. In fact, my dad was always worried because I was always on the computer so much as a kid. But it was, I've always been very tech savvy, and I got into, Facebook and social media stuff because I got into marketing and that kind of stuff in New York. But and I love the power of social media to start conversations and for people to start, talking to one another. But technology in general, I've been building websites for, a long time, since I was in middle school, high school. And recently, one of the projects that I came down and worked on whenever I came down the past 2 summers was building iPhone applications and mobile applications, which is actually a lot of fun for me. So, and that's really picking up these days. So I do a little bit of that. And I've just always been very intrigued by technology, and most importantly, how people can use it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's definitely an everyday thing. I could not imagine not having technology.
I know, particularly mobile phones, right? I mean, how could you, not have a BlackBerry or, or an iPhone or something to instantly get information, that kind of stuff.
And now you mentioned the iPhone apps. I've looked you up a little bit. Taptrend.com. That's something new to you, or kind of new. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So, with the experience that I was getting in New York, working for a large marketing agency, and then starting the social media stuff with Holden Beach, I wanted a way to, or a business that would help small businesses, like in Brunswick County community. And so, I brainstormed and started Taptrend, actually with a business partner of mine, and we started creating mobile apps for others, and that went really well. But then I decided to take it more towards marketing and like helping people with websites and online advertising and creating and managing social media pages like Facebook pages and helping people with Twitter. And so I've helped a number of businesses in Brunswick County and outside of Brunswick County to utilize that new technology, because I think it's important, because it's particularly important for small businesses with not much advertising budget, where large companies can throw money at it to sell a product, whereas small business can't. So social media is really the perfect way for small businesses to get their word out to their customers.
It's huge. It's huge.
Absolutely.
And is that something where you'll upkeep it for them as well, or you just really get them started, let them learn the basics so they can do it themselves?
It really depends on their budget and time constraints. So if they just simply don't have the time to manage their social media, or Facebook or Facebook page or Twitter, then absolutely, I'll definitely help them out with it. I think sometimes it's best for the business owner when it's a small business, because they know their business so well. that they can share that information.
Right.
But oftentimes in particular types of businesses, they're just so busy doing and managing their business, they don't have time for this stuff, even though it would help them a lot if they did. So, you know, that's where I'm always here to help and bring people, help people with that.
And if someone watching maybe wants to get in touch with you, they have a small business and they want to branch off and start these apps, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can visit taptrend.com, taptrend.com, and or always just email me, josh@taptrend.com. And even if they don't have much of a budget, or if they do can set a budget aside, if I can't necessarily help them, I'll give them advice. Really, just anybody that needs help. I've spoken to local businesses at the Holden Beach Merchants Association and the Brunswick County Chamber of Commerce doing learning sessions, just helping small businesses get on Facebook in particular. So again, if people need assistance, just by all means reach out to me.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Finally, let's welcome Joyce Larimore and Ann Klazowski. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for asking us.
Thank you.
Now, you all take a part in the Brunswick Senior Games, but what exactly do you all participate in? Obviously, you're the cheerleaders, right?
Joyce?
Actually, I participate in the Gatorette cheerleaders. I am one of the Gator dancers as well, but I also participate in some of the athletic events. I enjoy doing bocce, shuffleboard, football throw, softball throw, spin casting, and as far as the visual arts, I have entered a painting before, some painting on glass, some jewelry making, some poetry writing, so I do a little bit of everything.
And Ann?
Well, unfortunately, I don't do as much as Joyce does in different things, but I am a Gatorette and I am a dancer, and I've participated in spin casting for the first time in my life. So, and I got a medal, and I was tickled. So that was really great.
Good. And so obviously the Senior Games, you participate in a lot of different games. What exactly is Senior Games, and how did it start?
Senior Games, we are one of 54 counties that's sanctioned in North Carolina to hold the games, because there's strict criteria in order to hold the games and everything. It's an effort to keep seniors aware of health and nutrition. You know, being one time a year, we need to realize that we need to continue these physical activities all year long in order to avoid having to go to a nursing home, or maybe even eliminate that totally. As far as Brunswick County is concerned, we have about 80 different areas, which is the athletic end, as well as the silver arts, which includes the performing arts, the visual arts, the heritage arts.
And how long have each of you been involved in the Senior Games?
Well, this is my third year in Senior Games, and I hope I have many more after this. It's a lot of fun, and we do quite nicely. And Joyce?
This is my fourth year. The first year we didn't have a cheering team, but we had probably about 6 ladies from the Charlotte Center that was interested in getting involved in the performing arts. So we very rapidly put together a line dance, the electric slide, and that was actually our very first performance at state, on stage with the electric slide.
That sounds like fun.
It was.
I love the electric slide.
Well, then you would have loved our belly dancing, too.
Oh, that sounds like fun, too. I need to come check you out. And so, can anyone join the Gatorettes or the dance team? Do you all have any type of limitations on that?
Actually, anyone can join. If you have an interest in being part of us, you're more than welcome to come down and see what we do to start. And if you're interested, just come and go to the practices and everything. Our instructor, our leader, tries to gear the dancing and the cheering to the abilities of the people that are there. So you're not really asked to do things you cannot do. So if you have some limitations, I mean, she tries to incorporate things that each of us can do, because it is a big commitment, and we want everybody to enjoy what they're doing. And like Joyce has said before, we're interested in physical fitness and keeping healthy and keeping our minds healthy and our bodies. And cheering and dance is a great part of that, because believe it or not, it's aerobic exercise.
And since you both have become involved, you become ambassadors, can you explain to me what an ambassador means to the Senior Games?
Well, as an ambassador, what we do is go out and talk to people to inform them that what goes on with Senior Games, that you don't have to sit home and be old. You can join and show us the talents you have, share with other people the talents you have, and also meet people that are of the same abilities like you, so that you can enjoy each other's company. It's a matter of making a lot of new friends, not only county-wise, because you can also make them statewide. So it's just very, very interesting to be part of all this. And Joyce?
Yes, I agree with Ann totally. And also, it's not just presenting the program to groups of seniors. I do a lot of one-on-one contacts. You may be like just in a situation where it just comes up, and I'll say, oh, you know, you need to get involved because you have a talent. You know, you have an art talent. You have a heritage talent of crocheting or a basket weaving or whatever. We are not about, a lot of times people think we're just a bunch of athletic jocks trying to act like we're 25. That's not true. We're just keeping healthy and doing the best we can. So it's just getting the word out there.
And when is the Senior Games this year?
On the county level, that's where you start, at the county level. It's going to be from April 7th through May 19th. And that's where we do all our competitions. Those of us that get a gold medal will go on to states. You want to talk about states?
State is usually held the last week in September. It's held in Raleigh, but you have to get at least a qualification medal in your county to go. Now, on the performing arts side, since there are so many counties, 54 counties, the only ones that get to perform and that area is the ones that get the gold medal.
Okay.
But if you get a gold, silver, or bronze in any of the athletic events, that will qualify you to go to state.
And how many times have we been to state or nationals, the Brunswick County group?
We've been to the states twice with our cheering, and with our twice with your dance, because you did the electric slide, right? And then we did the belly dance. Last year, somebody beat us out at the county level for the dance, so we didn't get to take our dance to states last year, but we're hoping that this year we will.
If someone's watching and they want to get involved with Senior Games, who do they contact?
Well, they would call Brunswick County Parks and Recreation, Christy Hasselden. I believe her number is 910-253, what was the rest of it?
2677.
Yeah, and or call the county directly, and they will, you know, put them in touch with Christy, and she will give them any information that they need, send it out to them, and that way they can at least find out about it, you know. And then, like I said, if you're interested in cheering or dancing, I mean, our practices are open for people to come and watch us. If you want to participate, please come. We'd love to have you.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck in your Senior Games, and I hope to see you all go to nationals. Thanks for joining us this month for Brunswick Now on ATMC TV. I'm your host, Megan Masser. If you have any questions about people or events on today's show, feel free to email atmctv@atmc.coop or call 910-755-1770. Be sure to join us next month for Brunswick Now on ATMC TV.
Brunswick Now set is provided by Badcock Home Furniture and More, located on Main Street, Charlotte. Stop by today to find your perfect match.